Let's bring in our parenting expert, Claire Orange now. Good afternoon to you, Claire.
Hey, Tracy.
How do we fix this?
Well, I think, we've got to avoid what usually happens in education is trying to sort of stick a Band-Aid on an amputation. These are significant results, Tracy, and I think the fixing this means that we've got to look at this overcrowded curriculum that we've got, that children are learning things. We've got to go back to the basics with our kids. We've got to look at class size. We've got to look at the autonomy of the principal in the school to hold children back when they're not flourishing instead of pushing them through this system. We've got to think about things like play-based learning. I've spoken on it so many times, Tracy. We have this rigorous push down. We have testing in our children. There's so much in education that is crowding out the actual learning that our children need to be doing.
Yeah, indeed. Let's talk about some of these results. We've performed worst in maths. Our students 3.5 years behind the leading country, China. This sounds pretty major. Why such a difference, do you think?
Well, I think if we're going to compare ourselves against someone like China, it's a bit oranges and apples, really. So without, sort of doing any sort of racial profiling, it's possibly not the right country to be comparing ourselves to. But then we have to get back to, well, what are the basics of mathematics and how are they being taught? How are teachers being taught to deploy this curriculum around mathematics through the ages, all the way up through school? Are teachers specialised enough? Do we have that support for our children? But then I think we also need to come back to, Tracy, that some of this testing, so we've looked at mathematics and science and reading there, but we also have to give Australia a bit of a tick of approval when it comes to things like social and emotional learning, which is taken very seriously in Australian schools. And maybe that seriousness of maths, we need to look at some of the other things we're doing well instead of some of the things that we're just doing exceptionally badly at.
Yeah, so, and you mentioned a few things there in terms of like class sizes and also play-based learning to try and hopefully fix these results. But I mean, where do we go from here? And is it realistic that we can instill more play-based learning or, reduce the class sizes? Is that realistic for the future?
Oh, I think it's exceptionally realistic and it's achievable. I think sometimes what's missing out of policy that's passed in education is going back to the grassroots, the people who are actually the experts. And the experts are the people who are in the classrooms with the children every day. So I think where we have to go from here is to do some community-based consultation with these experts, these teachers who are teaching our children, to figure out, how do we get back to the basics of phonics and mathematics, like times tables that have been overtaken? How do we up parent engagement in a very busy, very technologically driven society? We really do have to peel back the complexity and just go back in. And yes, it's highly realistic that we bring back play-based learning. That is the fundamental learning of the early environment that children need to be doing, and we've missed it, Tracy. We've completely missed it, and it's because our kids have to jump through so many testing hoops. And what does our testing tell us? Like on entry and that plan? Nothing. Some
very strong opinions there from you, Claire. But no, also it all makes sense as well. Back to the basics.
Yeah.
Claire Orange, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Tracy.